So, I never thought I'd be posting here, but life has a funny way of reminding you that you're not nearly as stable as you think. For context, I'm 31, living what I'd call a comfortable, predictable life. Stable job, decent apartment, a few close friends, a relationship that's good, not perfect, but steady. I built my routines like walls. Morning coffee at the same cafe, gym after work, weekends planned out weeks ahead. Nothing dramatic, nothing chaotic. Honestly, I thought I'd finally outrun the version of myself I used to be. And for years, I believed my past was dead, buried. Like, when you convince yourself something happened in another lifetime? That's how it felt. Until 2:17 a.m. last Tuesday. I woke up because my phone buzzed. One notification. Unknown number. The message just said, "So, I never thought I'd be posting here, but life has a funny way of reminding you you're not nearly as stable as you think." For context, I'm 31, male, living what I'd call a comfortable, predictable life. Stable job in IT, decent apartment, a couple of close friends, and a relationship that's good. Not move-a-level romantic, but steady, safe kind. Let's call my current girlfriend Emma, 28F. My life is routines. Same coffee place in the morning. Same tram to work. Gym 3 times a week. Fridays with friends. Sundays with Emma and her obsession with true crime documentaries. Nothing dramatic. Nothing chaotic. And honestly, I liked it that way. My past felt like it belonged to a different person. Someone younger, dumber, and a lot more breakable. Then, 2:17 a.m. last Tuesday happened. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. One notification. Unknown number. I squinted at the screen, half asleep. "Hey, I'm back in town. Can we talk?" No name. No emoji. No context. Just that. But the way my stomach dropped told me everything I needed to know. It was her Dash. The girl who once felt like gravity. The one who vanished without a goodbye. The one who left behind a version of me I've spent years trying not to be. Let's call her Maya, 29F. I stared at that message in the dark while Emma snored softly next to me. Past me and present me collided in that one moment. And for the first time in a long time, I felt my safe little life crack. I didn't reply that night. My brain went full denial mode. Maybe it was a wrong number. Maybe it was spam. Maybe I was half dreaming. By morning, I had decided I was being dramatic. I left for work a bit earlier than usual, mostly to avoid thinking. I stepped out of my building, headphones in, mentally going through my to-do list. And she was just there, standing at the bottom of the stairs, leaning on the railing like she owned the place. Maya. Same dark hair, a little shorter. Same eyes, still too sharp. Same posture, relaxed, but like she was ready to move in any direction at any second. I froze mid-step. She smiled like we'd just run into each other at a grocery store. "Hey," she said, "you still ignore people in the middle of the night, huh?" My heart was pounding so loud, I couldn't hear the traffic. "How did you find me?" I finally managed. She shrugged like it was nothing. "Some things don't change," she said. That sentence felt way too loaded. She looked me up and down, not in a flirty way, more like she was evaluating damage. "You look older," she added, in a tired way. "Thanks, I guess," I muttered. There was this weird tension in the air, nostalgia mixed with something sour. Part of me wanted to hug her. Another part wanted to walk right past her and never look back. "I figure we should talk," she said. "There are things you don't know about back then." Just like that, she dropped a hook straight into the oldest wound I have. I should have walked away. Instead, when she asked, "Can we go somewhere?" my feet moved. We went to the small park 2 blocks away. Of course, she picked the same bench we used to sit on years ago. That wasn't an accident. Nothing with her ever is. For a while, we just sat there in silence. She watched me with that intense, searching look, like she was trying to read all the ways I'd changed and all the ways I hadn't. Finally, I broke. "You disappeared," I said. "You just left." No explanation. No closure. Nothing. She took a slow breath, like this was painful for her Dash. "That wasn't my choice," she said. First lie of the day. I could feel it, but I let it slide. "I had to leave," she continued. "There were circumstances. You wouldn't have understood." "Try me," I said. She gave a sad, practiced smile. The same one she used to use whenever she wanted me to feel protective instead of angry. It's complicated. Translation: I'm not going to tell you the full truth. My jaw tightened. Then why are you here now? I asked. After all this time, she hesitated, a flicker of something real in her expression. I need your help, she said. And it's about something that happened back then. When I left, my whole body went cold. Help with what? Her eyes darted away for a second. I'll explain, just not all at once. But you're the only person I can trust. That was ironic as hell, considering. But the worst part? A part of me still wanted to be that person. The one she trusted. The one she came back to. That's the thing about old wounds. You can think they're healed until someone touches them. Walking back home after that felt like walking through a glitchy simulation. Everything looked normal. Same streets, same buildings, same old lady walking her dog. But inside my head, it felt like someone had hit resume on a storyline I'd paused years ago. Distant, buried feelings started surfacing like they'd just been waiting for a chance. Shock came first, that electric, numbing kind, where it feels like your brain is 2 steps behind your body. Then confusion. Why now? Why me? What exactly did she mean by things you don't know? Under that, anger. Not the kind you scream out. The heavy kind. The kind that just sits in your chest and takes up space. She'd left me in pieces. I'd had panic attacks, therapy, nights where I'd stare at my phone until 4 a.m. hoping for a message that never came. And now she strolled back and like her absence was just a long commercial break. But then nostalgia crept in, the most dangerous emotion of them all. Remembering the nights we stayed up talking until sunrise. Remembering how intense everything felt with her. Remembering the way she made even boring places feel like scenes in a movie. And then came fear. Not fear of her. Fear of me. Fear that the person I'd been with her, insecure, dependent, constantly anxious, was still somewhere inside me, just waiting for the right trigger. Emma texted me around 5 p.m. Hey love, everything okay? You're quiet today. I stared at that message for a full minute, then lied. Yeah, just a long day at work. See you tonight, red heart. Meanwhile, my mind replayed Maya's words on a loop. There are things you don't know. I need your help. You're the only person I can trust. I didn't know it yet, but that was the day I started lying too. Mostly to myself. I thought I'd have a few days to think, to decide if I even wanted to get involved. Maya had other plans. The next evening, there was a knock at my door. Not the doorbell. An actual knock. Fast, familiar. My chest tightened immediately because she used to knock like that. I opened the door, and there she was. Again, this time with a small suitcase. Every rational circuit in my brain lit up with alarms. What are you doing here? I asked. She gave me this half-smile, half-winced expression. My hotel didn't work out, she said. Long story. Can we talk? That was suspiciously vague. No, I said automatically. You can't just show up in my apartment. Please, she said. And she said it in that specific way I remembered. Voice quieter, eyes glossy, but not quite crying. She knew exactly how much humanity I carried and how to weaponize it. I have nowhere else to go tonight, she added. My first instinct was to say, not my problem. My second was to imagine her wandering the city alone at night. My third was Emma. Emma didn't live with me, but she stayed over a lot. She could show up anytime. The thought of those two worlds colliding made my stomach flip. You can't stay here, I repeated. I didn't say I wanted to stay, she answered. I said I needed to talk. Please, just 10 minutes, which we both knew would never be 10 minutes. I let her in anyway. Huge mistake number. I've lost count. She put the suitcase by the door like some sort of symbolic anchor, and I realized she hadn't come just to talk. She had come to attach herself to my life again. We sat at my kitchen table. She took a deep breath, like she was about to deliver some heart-wrenching monologue. When I left, she started, it wasn't because I didn't care about you. I stayed quiet. There were people in my life you didn't know about, things I was involved in. It got messy, vague, dramatic. Classic Maya. What things? I pressed. She looked down at her hands. I owed someone money. A lot of money. And I made some bad choices trying to fix it. I remembered little red flags from years ago. Random late-night calls, don't ask moments. Her disappearing for a weekend with no explanation. My brain started connecting dots I never fully understood back then. Why didn't you just tell me? I asked. Because you would have tried to save me, she said simply. And I couldn't let you do that. I couldn't drag you into it. It sounded noble on the surface, but underneath it felt off. If you cared so much about not dragging me in, I said slowly, why are you here now asking for help? She looked up, eyes glossy. Because I don't have anyone else, she whispered. And because this time, it is about you. That sent a chill down my spine. What do you mean about me? She hesitated, then said, do you remember that night, a week before I left, when I borrowed your laptop? I did. I'd almost forgotten, but yeah, she borrowed it to apply for some jobs or something. I used your email, she said. Your name, your details, to sign something. I shouldn't have, but I was desperate. My heart just stopped for a second. What did you sign, Maya? Alone, she said quietly. In your name. Everything went silent. The fridge humming, the clock ticking, my own pulse in my ears. All of it disappeared against those words. In my what dash? Her voice was tiny now. I thought I'd pay it off before it mattered. I thought I'd fix it, but I couldn't. And then I got scared. And I ran. That was the second she stopped being just the girl who broke my heart and became something else entirely. I don't remember everything I said after that, just flashes. A lot of "Are you serious?" and "What the hell, Maya?" and "Do you realize what you've done?" She cried. Or at least, there were tears. I couldn't tell if they were fully real or partially strategic. I know I messed up, she kept saying. I know I hurt you. I know this is unforgivable. But they've started looking for you. That's why I'm here. The lender is looking for me? I asked. She nodded. I kept them off your back for a while. I told them I couldn't find you. But now, I think they did. Sick, heavy dread settled in my stomach. Have you gotten any letters? She asked. Emails? Calls? I thought about a weird letter I gotten 2 weeks ago and ignored because it looked like generic spam and an unknown number that kept calling me at work. I felt physically ill. She reached for my hand across the table like she had any right. I'm trying to fix it this time, she said. I swear. I can't do it alone. Every part of me wanted to throw her out. But there were now two problems. One, my past feelings. Two, a very real, very legal mess she'd created with my name on it. I did what I always do when my brain short circuits. I compartmentalized. Okay, I said, you can sleep on the couch tonight. Tomorrow, we look at what we're dealing with. But that's it. This isn't a reunion. This isn't us getting back together. This is damage control. She nodded a little too fast. Of course, she said. But her eyes said, you've already opened the door. That's all I needed. Meanwhile, Emma texted, can I come over tonight? Pleading face, I miss you. And I stared at that message with my ex asleep on my couch and a suitcase by the door. I texted back, not tonight. I'm not feeling well. Another lie. The next day, I took off work sick and started digging. I searched my email, bank statements, old spam folder, found 3 letters from a company I didn't recognize, all vaguely threatening, all addressed to me, but using a middle name I never put on anything online. I called the number. They confirmed there was an outstanding loan in my name from 5 years ago. Maya's timeline lined up, at least partially. But here's the thing. With her, truth and lies always came mixed. That afternoon, I went outside to grab some groceries and clear my head. When I got in my car, my stomach dropped. Someone had keyed the side. A deep, ugly scratch. And under the windshield wiper, there was a small, folded piece of paper. My hands were actually shaking when I opened it. You're harder to disappear than she said. No name. No contact. Just that. I went back upstairs, heart pounding, every nerve buzzing. Maya was in my living room. Scrolling through her phone like this was just another Tuesday. I tossed the note on the coffee table. Her face went pale. They were here, she whispered. Something clicked in me. They? Who exactly are they? I asked. Because your story keeps having gaps. She looked cornered for the first time. It's not just a lender, she said. It's more complicated. I laughed, but there was nothing funny in it. Of course it is, I said, because nothing with you is ever simple. We fought, not screaming, not throwing things. A quieter, more dangerous kind of fight. The kind where every sentence feels like a move on a chessboard. You should have told me before. You used my name, I said. I didn't think it would touch you, she insisted. I thought I could fix it. You never think it will touch anyone but you, I shot back. That's the problem. She flinched, then shifted. You think your hands are clean, she said, eyes narrowing. You think you don't owe me anything? I blinked. Excuse me. I took the fall for a lot of your mess too, she continued. You think you were some perfect victim? You were a wreck when we met. You used me as emotional support, therapist, girlfriend, everything. You drained me too. There it was. The classic Maya pivot. Take responsibility, twist it, push some back on you, blur the lines until you're too dizzy to remember who did what. I'm not saying I didn't have issues, I said. I did. I still do. But I didn't commit fraud in your name. She looked away. I already hate myself enough, she whispered. That sentence hit me right in the codependent reflex. I sighed, rubbed my face. I'm not here to make you hate yourself more, I said. I need the truth. All of it. No more half stories. No more vague, it's complicated stuff. Because right now, my life is on the line. Not just my heart. She nodded slowly. Okay, she said. Then I need to tell you something else. Of course she did. She finally started giving details. Names. Locations. Numbers. The lender was more of a private shark than a legitimate institution. The loan amount was way higher than I expected. She made a few payments, then disappeared when things got dangerous. You weren't supposed to be part of it, she kept saying. You were just a name I borrowed. I wrote everything down. Every name, every date, every amount. Later that night, after she fell asleep on the couch, I did my own digging. Google, social media, public records, some forums that made my antivirus software nervous. And here's the twist. Some of what she'd said checked out, but other parts? Not at all. One payment she claimed to have made under my name never existed. One person she swore had threatened me actually lived in another country. And a job application she mentioned from back then. I found old drafts in my email and a PDF attachment she'd sent to her self-titled backup_plan_Maya.pdf. I opened it. It was a document with multiple fake identities. Different names, different emails, different backstories. Mine included. That was when my sympathy meter crashed. This wasn't just a desperate, naive mistake. This was a pattern dash. I went back into the living room and just stared at her sleeping. At the person who had burned my life once and was currently holding a can of gasoline over again. I realized I had a choice to make. Keep getting pulled in, or step out of the blast radius. She woke up around midnight and found me at the table with my laptop open, documents and notes scattered. You couldn't sleep? She asked. No, I said. I was busy looking at the crater you made out of my life. Her face went still. I know I hurt you, she started, but I cut her off. You didn't hurt me, Maya. You built a bomb with my name on it and walked away. And now you're here asking me to help you defuse it, again, while still lying to me. I told you the truth, she said. Half of it, I replied, which, coming from you, might be worse than a full lie. She went silent. I'm going to a lawyer, I said. Tomorrow, with or without you. I'm going to tell them everything. I'm going to protect myself. If that means you get exposed, then that's what happens. Fear flashed in her eyes, real raw. You do that to me? She whispered. You did it to me first, I said. She looked like she wanted to cry, but then something hardened in her expression. You've changed, she said softly. It sounded almost accusing. Yeah, I answered. That was the point. She played one last card. If you go to a lawyer, she said, they might come after you more. These people, they don't like when things go official. You're safer if we handle it quietly. Always trying to pull me back into the shadows with her. I took a deep breath. I'd rather deal with official problems than live my life scared of whoever you pissed off 5 years ago. I said, this ends now? For me. Where am I supposed to go? She asked. If you cut me off, I felt a pang of guilt. Old habits die hard. But I said it anyway. That's not my problem anymore. Of course, life wasn't done throwing curveballs. The next day, I scheduled a meeting with a lawyer for later that week. I gathered all the documents, screenshots, and notes into a folder. I was mid-panic spiral when my doorbell rang. I opened the door. Emma, holding a bag of food and smiling. Surprise, she said. I know you said you weren't feeling well, So I brought soup and snacks, and she stopped when she saw Maya behind me, coming out of the living room. Everything froze. Emma looked from me to Maya. Maya looked at Emma with that unreadable expression. My brain screamed, "You did this. You let this happen." Emma, I said, throat dry. "This is Maya, an old friend." Maya raised an eyebrow slightly at the word friend. Emma's face went through about 4 emotions in 3 seconds. "Oh," she said. "The Maya." She knew about her. Of course she did. I told Emma that my last big relationship ended badly. I just left out the part where my ex might get me legally screwed. We all moved into the living room like it was some kind of bad sitcom. I explained. Not everything. Not the loan yet, but enough. Old ex, unexpected return. Some problems from the past. She needed help. It was supposed to be temporary. Emma listened quietly, jaw tight, eyes glossy. "I wish you'd told me," she said finally. "Before she was living here." "She's not living here," I said quickly. "It's just temporary. I'm handling it." Maya watched all this with unsettling calm. "I can leave," she said suddenly, "if that makes things easier. I don't want to ruin your new life." The way she said new life made it sound like a betrayal. Emma looked at me. Not at Maya. At me. "I don't want to be the kind of girlfriend who tells you who you can or can't help," she said. "But I also don't want to be blindsided by your past walking out your bedroom." "She's on the couch," I muttered. "That's not the point," Emma replied. She was right, and she deserved better than this. For the first time, I saw my situation through someone else's eyes. And it looked bad. That night, after Emma left, we agreed to talk later. I sat across from Maya one last time. "This can't continue," I said. "You staying here. You dropping bombs into my life. This dynamic. It has to stop." She stared at me for a long time. "So that's it?" she asked. "You're just done?" "I'm not just done," I said. "I'm exhausted. I spent years putting myself back together after you left. I built something solid for the first time in my life. And you walked in and started shaking the foundations like it was your right." Her eyes hardened. "After everything I went through," she said, "I thought you'd understand." "I do understand," I said. "I just finally understand that I'm not responsible for fixing you." We made practical arrangements. I'd still go to the lawyer. I'd give them all the info, including the fact that my name was used without my consent. I'd share what I could with her afterward, purely as information. But emotionally, that cord needed to be cut. "Tomorrow," I said, "you need to be out of here." She nodded, jaw clenched, tears threatening but not falling. "You know," she said, voice shaking just a little, "I always thought if we saw each other again, it would be different. That you'd be the same person who would do anything for me." "That's the problem," I replied. "I used to be. I can't afford to be that person anymore." The next day, she left. Suitcase in hand. No dramatic goodbye. No hug. Just one last look at me like I betrayed some unspoken promise. An hour later, I blocked her number. For real this time. The days after she left were weirdly quiet. I went to the lawyer, explained everything, showed the documents, fully admitted that someone I'd been involved with had used my name years ago. The lawyer wasn't shocked. Apparently, people do this more often than I'd like to believe. We made a plan. Dispute the debt. Document the fraud. If necessary, file a report that would put some of the heat on her, not me. It wasn't fun. It wasn't instant. It was paperwork and stress and uncertainty. But for the first time in this whole mess, I felt like I was facing it forward instead of hiding from it sideways. Emma and I had a long, hard conversation. She was hurt that I hadn't told her everything from the start. Hurt that I let Maya stay with me without even mentioning it. "I get that she messed you up," Emma said. "I really do. But you can't keep letting the ghost of who you were with her control who you are now." She wasn't wrong. We didn't break up, but we hit pause. Less time together, more space, more honesty, or nothing at all. She needed to see if she could trust me fully. I needed to see if I could be fully honest. I started therapy again. Not because of the loan, but because of the pattern. Why I'd opened the door so easily. Why a single text could make me fall back into old emotions. Why I'd lied to protect everyone's feelings but my own. Slowly, the constant adrenaline faded. No more notes on my car. No more unknown numbers calling late. No more sudden knocks on the door at weird hours. Just life. Boring, stable life. and I realized I missed it. A lot. So here I am, posting on Reddit like some cliche. When my past showed up, I thought it was about her dash, closure, romance, old feelings, unfinished business. Turns out, it was mostly about me. Here's what I learned. Just because someone is from your past doesn't mean they belong in your present. History is not a valid form of currency. It doesn't buy unlimited chances. People can be both wounded and harmful at the same time. Maya went through real stuff. I don't doubt that. But her pain didn't make it okay for her to screw up my life, emotionally and legally, twice. If someone keeps giving you half-truths, they're still lying. It's complicated is sometimes code for I'm controlling what you know so I can control how you react. The version of you that they remember doesn't have to be the version of you that exists now. She expected me to be the guy who would burn himself down to keep her warm. I almost did. Almost. Stability is not boring. It's peaceful. After chaos, predictability feels like a blessing, not a punishment. What would I tell someone else whose past suddenly comes knocking? You don't owe anyone access to your present just because they starred in your past. You're allowed to say no, even if they're crying, even if they're in trouble, even if you once loved them more than anything. Protect your future self the way you wish your past self had protected you. As for me, the loan situation is still being sorted out, but it's manageable. I'm not hiding from it anymore. Emma and I are taking things slow, rebuilding trust, but with more transparency than before. Therapy is helping more than my pride wants to admit. And Maya? I don't know where she is now. For the first time, I'm okay with not knowing. If she ever messages me again, I think I'll finally be able to do what I should have done the first time. Read it. Recognize the past. Let's stay there and keep walking forward.